Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel True Crime and Trials, where I discuss true crime and trials. My name's Lindsay, and I am, of course, doing more videos on the Bob Durst trial. It's pretty full on. Some days there's a lot of witnesses, some days there's only a few, but they're long. But as I've said, this trial is months long, and my reasoning for doing this, I just thought I'd explain it to, help you understand why I'm covering this case, because I'm not sure how popular it is. But I watched The Jinx, oh God, don't know, a long time ago, and what I heard Bob Durst say at the end just made my stomach turn, and it always stuck with me. So when I saw this trial coming up, I just thought, yeah, I've got to do that, and I've got to see him be punished for at least something. Do you know what I mean? I know he has literally halfway in his grave at this point, but just to get some justice for somebody, would just be amazing. So that's my reasoning for doing it. It takes up a lot of time, but I'm enjoying doing it, and I hope whichever of you guys that's watching it enjoy it too. I sit and I watch and I type at the same time just to get, all the key points down. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm enjoying the trial. It's a lot of work and it's long, but it's good, and I really hope we get the outcome that we want for this one. So the next witness is Marsha Krane, and she was a news reporter for the New York Post, and she retired in 2006. She was involved in reporting the story of Kathy's disappearance and worked with Charles. In fact, she was the first to interview Bob. She was handed the assignment and got Bob's phone number. She did it all the hard way, looking in the phone book and things like that, because she didn't have Google and stuff back then. And she called him, and from that conversation, Marsha wrote an article based on the information she got from Bob. And it reads, Mystery of the Missing Beauty by Marsha Krane. Realtor's wife vanishes and search begins. The beautiful wife of a wealthy Manhattan real estate developer has disappeared. A short time later, her husband, Robert, 38, son of real estate tycoon Seymour Durst and third-generation developer with the family's Durst corporations, spoke with her by phone from their weekend retreat in Westchester. And that, says Durst, is the last anyone knows of his attractive 5'5", 120-pound wife. The next morning, she failed to show up for classes at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, where she is due to graduate in May. Her car, a red Mercedes she drove to school, was still parked in its assigned spot in a nearby garage. Her clothes and jewellery were in the apartment untouched. The knapsack she travelled with and her toothbrush were still there too. No notes were found. None of her friends or relatives has heard from her, said Durst. Even more puzzling, he noted, is no one recalls seeing her leave their building. He believes Kathy left the apartment to go to a store or to visit a friend, and that something happened. I used to tell her she dressed too nicely, he said. I told her she attracted too much attention. If someone were looking for someone who looked wealthy, it would be her, said Durst. When she left their country home in posh South Salem, she was dressed in a long beige down coat, brown suede boots, blue jeans, and a blouse. She was also wearing diamond earrings and two thin gold chains. She wore the diamond earrings everywhere, even to the hospital in the Bronx, not the safest place in the whole world, said Durst. The perplexed Durst has contacted police and is planning to hire a private detective. He's certain his wife did not run away. We had some problems most married people have, he said. We've had our arguments and disagreements, but nothing new or unusual. At times during their 9-year marriage, she's gotten angry and stayed at her friend's house overnight, but she's never disappeared. Never anything like this, he said. He urged anyone with information to contact his office or Detective Struck in the 20th precinct. And this is the only time she personally spoke to Bob, apart from writing the articles with the information that was relayed to her. She had no other involvement. And again, she's another one that really didn't want to be here today. So that's that witness. The next one is Miriam Barnes. Now, Miriam knew Susan because they lived near each other in the same complex. The first time Miriam met Susan was in the laundry room, and after that they became best friends. When asked to describe Susan, Miriam says that she was vivacious and exuberant. That was when she was in her better moods, and she was very outgoing, and they ended up very close. In discussions Miriam had with Susan, they would talk about loyalty and how important it was to her. Susan was a good friend. She also had her ups and downs, and she had a lot of issues, as we've heard in previous testimonies about Susan. And what she means by that is when everything was going well, it was good, but when she would fall apart, mentally, she fell apart. There were times when she just could not get out of bed. Miriam knew of Kathy but had never met her, but had met Bob once. Susan told her that she adored Bob and he was everything to her and he was like a brother. Miriam found out about Kathy's disappearance from Susan, who called Miriam to go to her apartment straight away. When Miriam got there, Susan was pacing back and forth in the hallway. They didn't go sit down in the kitchen or the living room. They just stayed in the hallway. And Miriam says she's never seen her act that way before. Susan had 2 chairs facing each other in the hallway and asked Miriam to sit down. And Susan said to her, "I'm going to tell you something, but I need you to not ask me questions." Then she said, "I did something today." And she did it for Bobby. Then she said if anything happened to her, Bobby did it. Susan didn't tell her what she had done. At first, Miriam didn't know if what Susan had told her was real or not, because Susan had a tendency to be dramatic, so Miriam just didn't know. The one time Miriam did meet Bob, they were in Nick Chavin's apartment, and Bob had gone to the bathroom, and when he came out, his pants were open. I mean, come on. That is just classic Bob. I mean, when you hear this stuff, you're just like, really? But it is classic Bob. Miriam says she wasn't offended, but personally, she would say he was an asshole. She says there was an arrogance about him. Miriam found out that Susan had died at the end of a Christmas party Miriam had that Susan was supposed to go to. The hairdresser to both Susan and Miriam called to tell her Susan was murdered. It was on the day of Susan's funeral that Miriam remembered the conversation she had with her, and in her mind, Bob murdered Susan, but she didn't go to the police because she was scared of him. She's still scared now. And when she learned about Maurice Black, it made it certain for her that she wouldn't talk to the police and she didn't want anything to do with it. Basically, she thought if he was capable of doing that, then, he's capable of anything. So Miriam has a very close friend by the name of Stephen Greenhouse, who amongst other things used to be a lawyer or something along those lines, and she did end up speaking to him about what happened. He told her that she had to call the authorities. She told him she just couldn't. Now, a reporter called Charles Bagley called her, and she agreed to talk to him through Stephen. And Miriam ended up speaking to him on numerous occasions, and eventually she gave, an interview. And part of the reason why she did this is because he told her that Bob was very ill, and she was kind of hoping, it wouldn't come to the trial and Bob would have died before it all got going. So, at least she's honest. And Miriam also didn't want to talk to the defence. So one thing I forgot to note was at the beginning of this was the dates of the conversation. Miriam stated that the conversation with Susan happened before Miriam got married in the late 70s, whereas, you know, Kathy didn't go missing until 1982. So, has Miriam got her dates very, very wrong? But she seemed quite certain that it was before she got married, so that really didn't look good. You know, you either believe that or you don't, because, you know, it's her word, and when she's got the dates so badly wrong, what, you know, it just makes you wonder. So there we go. I'll be back with some more witness in the next video. So until then, bye for now.